Hello, guys, and welcome down to the CoasterGen Show. We have a stacked cast tonight. We've got 7 people on, like crazy. We have a special guest on. We have Luca Giacobbe. How are you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Hello, mate. I'm all good.
I appreciate your time coming on, man. Really do. It's been great to talk to you as well over the last couple of weeks. It's been awesome.
Yeah, man. It's been cool.
Right, so we also have Sean from ParkSpill, we have Mikhile, we have Joe from Theme Park Insanity, and Sam from Theme Park Insanity, and we have James. Say hi, James.
Hi, James.
Sean,
Hey.
how are you after that marathon of a 4-hour stream, saying unknown for an hour of it, and flying squirrel, jungle squirrel ride, whatever it was?
I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. I was just, for the next day, I just kept having, you know when you get a song stuck in your head?
Yeah.
For me, it was just unknown in my head. For ages. But yeah, no, it went well. And thank you for everyone who donated and stuck on the stream. Like, that was awesome. It was funny.
That might just be the funniest piece of theme park content I've taken in.
It was mad.
in the past few years.
We were just saying, we're just watching someone just say unknown for an hour straight. Like,
but loads of people saying how like captivating it was in a weird way. Everyone's like, I thought this was going to be boring as hell, but actually, like, everyone was just like on it.
I'm waiting for someone to go through it and say, "You actually missed an unknown there."
Plenty people were saying it.
Someone will. Well,
Plenty of people
when there
were
was like
saying it in
multiple
the
names, when there was multiple names, I made sure that I said more than there was on the page, just to make up in case I made any of the other ones. So I was just like, I'll say an extra 5 each page.
So how is everybody in the chat? Hopefully you've had a good week. Let's say hello to Jamie, Joe, Aaron. We've got Matt, Techno Andrew. We've got Fidel. We've got Mikhile. You're not in the chat.
I am. I've messaged like once. Just say what's up.
You're in the chat. All right, you're in. Fair enough. You're in. So right. Well, what news have we got? Should we go straight to Orlando and just take a look at this absolute monster of a photo from Midway Mayhem?
Oh, please, lads.
Should we do that?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, go for it.
Out of the machine himself.
Look
And from Midway Mayhem.
at that coaster, the
It's
long
incredible.
exposure. Oh, man.
So nice.
Why can't we have that in the UK?
If
Probably get noise complaints, that's why.
yeah.
Well, to be fair, Thorpe did try to do it. Didn't
Intimate
pull it off
launches are
anywhere
very
near
loud.
as well.
And you could just put LEDs all the way through stealth's.
No, they did it with the Swarm. They actually do have LEDs on the Swarm
Oh
stream.
yeah, they do have LEDs.
Doesn't light up as they don't work anymore.
Well, as long as the trains still work, that's the main thing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
The blue though. The blue.
Every coaster at this park has LEDs on. I've just realised as well,
Yeah,
because they now have lights on Hulk and
Yeah.
Rip Ride Rocket as well, and Hagrid's.
Hagrid's has the headlights as well.
That's mad.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like,
They don't
what
know
have
how
we
to
got
present a
like
coaster
that's
over
like
there.
that in the UK? Like what? Icon maybe with the
Whenever they turn
Big
them
one.
on.
yeah. When
Yeah.
they turn it on.
closest we get, yeah.
There's one train that has like one side off, like on one of the trains, and it's so annoying. It's like, just fix it. Come
Yeah,
on, guys.
literally just fix it. Like, if it was your 3D model, you'd fix it, right? So why not fix it if it's the real
Well,
thing?
just change the light
Yeah.
bulbs if
Shit.
What's everyone think about like this new topic that seems to be coming up I've seen it this week of people saying how it's got like really bad pacing issues because of the long trains. I
have
just
you
want to know
seen
what
that?
everyone thinks of that.
I
think-
noticed
I think-
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
I
lot
think
of people are saying it
Midway
right now.
Mayhem-
I've been trying
I
to
think
avoid this conversation.
You ain't avoiding it now, Mikhile. Mikhile, what do you think?
I mean, I think that people have to put. I think that Velocicoaster is a coaster that you have to put into its proper context, in that sense, because people in their minds are comparing it to like Maverick and Taron, and rightly so, because obviously it's the same coaster model and it's what we've come to expect from Infinite Blitz coasters. But like you said, Sean, this has twice as long a train. The elements while looking whippy, aren't going to be as whippy as those. They're not going to have as higher roll rate on them because they have to get a twice as long train through them. And like, you know, if Maverick had a 6-car train, it wouldn't it wouldn't be able to navigate the elements that it has. And I just think that it's gonna I think it's gonna ride more gracefully.
Yeah, it does. It looks
than the likes of Maverick and Terran.
It looks more like a B&M in some spots. Like, with how it just flows through the layout. And then it does crazy things like tips you out and then flips you in the 360 inverted stall.
I mean, it takes that 0G roll at some fair speed, doesn't it? Even if you look at that now, it proper whips you through that.
And the pull up into the top hat as well.
Yeah, you're gonna get whipped over the top of that.
I still think they're gonna speed it up from what it is. I don't think it's at full speed.
This is my thing. Was surely it's testing, isn't it? So it's like they're going to test it at all different types of like speeds. Yeah. So I don't know how people, like knowledgeable people as well, are still judging it. And it's like, you know, nowhere near to opening yet. Like surely, like how can you judge something that's not open?
And another thing, like when you. It's all right judging it from off-ride, but I mean, come on, we've all had it now. Where you you look at Wickerman, and the first time I saw Wickerman, right, I was like, I always use this as an example because it's true. I looked at it and I thought, that looks a bit, you know, got on it. And I was like, holy, like that it took me by surprise, like how quick it actually is on the right. It's so much different. Like it really is.
We all did the same with Icon as well. Like it looks so slow off ride. Yeah. Like, granted, it's still not the fastest, but it's still really good.
Yeah,
it's a lot faster on ride than it looks off.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that last turn as you go back over the entranceway there, that pulls some G-force. When it gets going after the airtime hill, which is one of my favorite sections of the rides. I love that.
I love that
pop you get. I love when the Northwestern Your accent comes out.
I can't help it.
It gets me every time.
Skurfest.
I think another thing that you have to be mindful of with Velocicoaster is that it's the park it's at. It's not at a Cedar Fair park. It's not at a Six Flags park. Bingo. It's not at one of these, you know, smaller parks that randomly really embrace enthusiasts in all of their editions and stuff. Not only is it a Universal park, it's at Islands of Adventure, which is one of the busiest, most popular, most visited parks in the entire world. So what does that tell you about its target market? Its target market isn't just enthusiasts.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to get as many people, as many families. Yes, they're targeting, you know, teenagers, young adults, you know, like more adventurous parents and stuff.
It's everybody, isn't it? Basically, they're tagging it everybody. Anybody that wants to ride.
They're trying to get as many people on this ride as possible. Hence, why it has 6 cars per train, not 4 or 3.
Yeah,
so machine. They don't want something like a Maverick or a Steel Vengeance or an i305 where it's just or a lightning rod that's like rip your face off intensity. And, you know, not as many people ride it, and by doing that, like take away, like more balance the park out in terms of the queue lines on other coasters as well. They want the park to be even. They want, you know, they want as many people on the ride as possible, basically.
So what sort of intensity are we expecting? Are we kind of predicting for this then? Because when I first saw it, the first thing that drew my eyes was the double spine track that was going around the Helix. Like, and I thought this is going to be intense.
I think it's gonna be intense. Absolutely, it's gonna be
gonna take people
intense.
By surprise.
It's gonna have a sense of speed. It's gonna have a sense of aggression. Maybe just down a touch from the likes, like I said, like this, like the i305s, the Sky Rushes, the Mavericks, like maybe just down half a touch from that. But it's still going to be I think it's still going to be an aggressive ride. Yeah. Also with that like there's obviously going to be a much more of an emphasis on story and theming within it, and just the visual
from the way that the visual and the amount of sort of theme elements surrounding it. So
right, like there's going to be much more to this whole, like experience holistically than just the coaster element of it. And that's why I'm still super excited for it.
And plus, when there's theming objects and you're close to things, it always feels like faster than you're actually going.
Oh yeah,
and this is going to have lots of that.
Yeah.
If you look at Taron off ride, it looks pretty slow. It does look pretty slow off ride, but as soon as you get on it, it's
I've never seen it off ride, so it's like, well, I have. I've seen videos.
But you can see it on.
It looks slower off ride than it is on ride. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's some parts of it
about the bit that goes up it's like goes in between the waterfall and up the rocks. That always looked a bit like sluggish to me, but yeah, I can see what you're saying now. Actually, like
and it looks well. It's what you said. It looks graceful, but when you're on it, there's nothing graceful.
Oh yeah, no.
It's anything but graceful.
And the other thing about Velocicoaster is it's going to be designed to run like pretty much 365 compared to these other like coasters which are run for a season or like a seasonal like time period.
100%.
So it'll probably go through wheels quicker.
Like you said, Sean, they're testing a whole bunch of different situations.
And Jeremy said they'll be testing out different wheel compounds as
different
well.
Wheel compounds.
Oh yeah,
different
for sure.
Different
speed, especially with the weather they have there. Like
rollback
and it's been cold as well, apparently. So
yeah. There's been days where they haven't been able to open Incredible Hulk because of how cold and windy it's been.
Jesus.
So
wheel compounds make up like a big part as well. Because I remember when we went to Liseberg and they were telling us like they tested like maybe 8 different wheel compounds just for Helix.
Wow.
So, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, can we just hold off until we see what it looks like in
this is the plea from Mikhile. Guys, chill.
Yeah.
Let's wait until we see
Let's not panic.
Just wait until we see it in August with a full train.
Yeah. This is what I had because I saw a video pop up on YouTube on my suggestion and it was just like, why Velocicoaster is not going to be the best ride in the world. I'm like, how do you know?
That call at this stage.
I saw that video and I closed the tab halfway through it.
I think I did as well, to be honest.
Because
he was comparing it to Cyberpunk and how everyone was so stoked for that.
Why?
And then when it came out,
it was like,
just like, what is this? Are you just angry at Cyberpunk?
They're two completely different things.
Cyberpunk are throwing out patches left, right, and center as well. Like there's loads of it. Like seriously,
listen, right?
I bought the game.
I get from a enthusiast perspective, I get it because like it. Like the point is we were enthusiasts were expecting it to look like Maverick, like Taron, like Tiger,
aggressive,
you know, in terms of that kind of, you know, punchy aggressive pacing. But and that's fair off of the early testing reactions and stuff. You never know, it might have a bit of a closer resemblance to that in the summer. You don't know, but like to go off of what we've seen so far, I get it, but at the same time, people are just going in, like some people are just going in the absolute opposite direction and saying it's embarrassingly slow, it's crawling, it's like I'm gonna be disappointed. It's
going 70 miles an hour. Like that's all right.
It's like what's the point?
It's like on Gwazi's POV. Everyone was like, "That's awful." It's like how do you know? Like, what are you talking about? How is it awful?
Between watching a video and actually getting on that ride and experiencing it yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. You know, you've all been there, looked at it and thought, right, well, that
you watch a video of Stealth, for example, and then you ride the thing. You can't.
It's like a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah, it really is. And you can testify to that because, like, you didn't know what to expect, did you?
No, I had no idea. And I watched so many videos of Stealth. And so many videos of POVs anyway.
Oh,
we were.
Such a good
I was like, Joe, you get pulled into your seat on this bit.
A video doesn't do it justice because the G-force that you actually get from it is just like, oh, okay.
Luca, did you find any sunglasses in the ride area for Stealth?
You find the craziest stuff in there.
I did try and catch them. I promise. I tried to catch them.
I've left my mark at the park. That's all. I'm happy.
Trim said enthusiasts will keep complaining until a new coaster comes along that's as good. I assume he meant is as good as Steve.
Yeah, it is as good as Steve.
But,
I mean, yeah. Anyway, should we stick with Universal and check out Universal Beijing and talk about that? Want to do that?
Good. Yep.
Let's do
We need a segue. Talking of dinosaurs, Jurassic World at Universal Beijing.
Is that from your script from your video you dropped the other day?
Oh, no, it's not.
Can
in
Sam
case anyone doesn't know, I dropped a video.
There it is.
Don't watch it yet. This is much more important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I pulled this image off the internet. It's probably not the best one, but yeah, we've seen there's loads of stuff being added there now. Are you guys excited for it? I mean, is anybody gonna go? Like,
I hope you can.
It's got me wanting to.
Oh yeah,
I don't see myself going to China anytime soon. But
likewise.
I love the look of all the Universal parks. So like anywhere where one pops up, it's gonna look like enticing to me. But I'm like, it's hard to get as excited for it because I don't know like that. I'm not going to Beijing anytime soon.
Yeah.
But
just a little bit out of reach. No offense.
Yeah, it does look awesome though. I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's finished.
I think I'm more impressed by the dark. Sorry, Luca.
Oh no, I was just saying it looks like the best of all the parks like put into one park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what gets me like so hyped. It just looks so good.
I think I'd be more excited about the dark ride, to be honest with you, than I kind of would be probably most of the coasters, because that dark ride, I mean, as we said in the sort of pre-cast, the Mr. Chicken not actually putting gyrospheres on that ride, but the rest of the ride itself does look incredibly well themed and incredibly well laid out from what I have seen in pictures. So if that's the kind of standard we have to look forward to from this park, then the whole park itself should be worth the trip.
I'm wondering how that dark ride is going to differ from Jurassic Park River Adventure and Universal Hollywood's version of it.
I thought the dark ride was using a similar ride system to like Spider-Man rather than a indoor boat ride. Have I got that completely wrong?
I don't actually know. I
think it's like a boat, like train-looking vehicle, but I think the vehicle itself is actually tracked.
It's a boat train-looking thing on tracks.
It's a vehicle.
I think it's supposed to be land road shaped.
It's a mode of transport.
Yes.
I don't think it's water. I don't think any.
No, I think it's on a track, but I think the car is a boat.
Yeah.
Someone comment in the chat if we've all just got it completely wrong here.
Yeah, let us know in the chat. But we
boat train the ride.
Boat train the ride. Brilliant.
Boat train.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm hoping. So that's exciting. There's so much stuff being built, man. Like we say this every week. Like, we've not even talked about Pantheon. Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Mikhile?
I mean,
sluggish.
Slow, it's not going to be good, is it?
It looks slow from the 3D render. I'm not bothered. Steel Vengeance.
No.
Does that mean I have to make my No Limits coasters just as fast as possible in the edit now? Like, just so people go, that looks sick. Like, is that all I have to do now?
Watch the testing footage and spit up.
Just to appease the 1%.
Go back to filming things on tape, and then it'll look faster than it is. Maybe that's what it is as well. Like, a lot of people going, actually, that's not a bad point. Like, when we've been doing research on Nemesis at VTO, we've been watching old tape footage. Like, some of it is quite old, and it looks a hell of a lot quicker than it is, even off-ride as well. But then when you think about the frames and the bit rate of the camera and stuff like that, it makes a difference. And now we're seeing these coasters, like, the first time, it's like you're watching them now. Whereas before, it was... I mean, what do you think, Sean? Am I onto something there? Because, like, with camera's quality, surely things will look crisper and cleaner, but will also take the edge off previous coasters like Millennium Force, for example. When that
I'd say it's more about the speed that everyone can export and upload at now. Is the fact that there's a wealth of footage. A
not
couple
just
of
relying
hours
on
after
one.
it's done.
Yeah.
It used to take like a day for most people to export like one video.
Yeah,
and then upload, especially in America, like it's taking a long time to get good upload speeds around everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'd say it is more to do with that than it is with camera quality. That just how much footage is available.
Yeah. So what it is people are catching it on its best day, people are catching it on its slow test days, and then it's just getting a good. So there could be a good speed out there that nobody's like. Oh, actually, people that are like, oh, it's a bit slow, and then they see that one, they're like, oh,
it's also the amount. It's also the amount of vloggers that are just around, especially in Orlando now. Like, there's just so many people who have just got cameras on them constantly. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's why everyone's critiquing everything so often.
Maybe. But anyway, back to Pantheon. So that thing looks like an absolute beast. Like,
it looks like they've
got some stats on that. Oh, James, you want to get some stats up on that?
For Pantheon.
Fastest
off the top of my head, the top height is supposed to be 170 or 180 feet. I think.
I believe it's 180.
Jeez.
Wow.
73 miles per hour, I think.
73. Yeah. They were marketing it as the world's fastest multi-launch.
0.3 miles per hour.
I've got here a height 178 feet with a drop of 180.
Jeez.
95-degree drop.
Yep.
Yeah.
73 miles an hour. It's 3,328 feet long.
2 5-car trains.
2 inversions. And 2 5-car trains. Riders range 2 across in 2 rows for a total of 20 people per train.
Yeah. Decent. Which isn't the largest capacity in the world, but in the same area as Apollo's Chariot and Tempesto, and a pretty sizable Rapids ride as well. Like it'll contribute to it. But they've got a full train on now at the moment, so it seems like they're gearing up to, restart construction on it and start testing and finish up the station building and the rest of the
do we know if it's done a pull through
and everything like that
at all?
I think they were halfway through a pull through before they had to close for the pandemic. So I don't know if they'll have to restart that again or just start where they left off. Probably restart it. It was over nearly a year ago. With Busch Gardens Williamsburg going to year-round ops now. I feel like they're just moving towards getting it ready for some kind of opening date this year. They took off of their marketing. They originally in their marketing had it worded as open in spring 2021, but they've taken the spring off now, so it's just open in 2021. So what that's I don't know if they're trying to be strategic about when they want to open it. Maybe they want to hold it off until they can get more people in the park and when restrictions have been lifted, or if they just want to be cautious about how much work they have left to do for it. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty confident that it'll open this year, to be honest.
If they can. I think
doesn't look like there's a whole lot left to do.
Oh man, where'd you go? Like, if you live in America, where'd you go? Like, when everywhere opens, all these rides open. Like, where?
So
much
spoiled, aren't they,
so
really?
much.
Absolutely spoiled. And we've got a coaster that's just sat there. We're not getting any news about it. Like, it's just learning about the giraffes. They've got a flamingo land instead of what the coaster's called. Like, come on, guys. Giraffes are awesome, but I mean, you've just built a new ride, and everyone's seen it all season. Tell us a bit about it. Like, what's your plans for it? Joe, go mental.
I mean, to be fair, I've heard rumours. I know, I'm just going to go off on one now. I mean, I've heard rumours from inside the park, from people that kind of either have a connection or etc. Basically, that have said, that construction with this ride will restart end of March, early April. Now, originally that was supposed to be back in December. Of course, that never happened. So, providing everything goes as it should do, hopefully, we'll be seeing some sort of form of construction resuming around about that time. And I also believe they also need to do another of a pull through due to the fact that there's been such a distance of time between the two as well. But I believe that testing of this ride is about that close now to actually happening. But obviously, nothing official has been dropped from the park. We've had no news on a theme, a name, an opening date or anything. And as we've all said before, usually around about this time, we start getting that information from the parks. So that does beg the question exactly what a planned opening will be for this. I mean, I've heard this summer. So I reckon,
2022.
I'm reckoning probably sort of late July, early August, I'd reckon. But I mean, that's only a guess. And again, there's nothing official. So, yeah.
Do we know anything on the paint of that coaster? Like if they're going to paint it before it opens, or
as far as we're aware, it is still set to get a repaint. That's as much as I know.
Oh, really?
So hopefully,
it's supposed to be great.
Crossed.
Like with the Union, it's got like something to do with the Union Jack as well, isn't it? On the train,
it has.
Like,
yeah,
are they just trying to be Pleasure Beach? Like,
it does make you wonder, doesn't it? And also what the theme's going to be. So
Brexit coaster.
Brexit,
can't get
the
in,
ride.
you're not allowed.
You need a visa and a negative test,
I don't know what they're doing with that thing there. Like seriously, if I was in charge at Flamingoland, I'd be like, right, we need to make sure we don't like fall. Everything going on like in the industry right now with all the rides that are opening. This is the only major coaster in the UK. Like,
it makes me wonder if how confident they are of opening when they can and what kind of financial position they're in, because if they had some form of idea or had some form of like belief that they'll be in a good spot to open later this year, then surely they would want to start hyping this up
out of all the parks,
in some way.
Yeah. Out of all the parks that I went to last year, that one just felt like there was nothing going on. So I don't think, apart from having a few rides closed, they still had the campsite open. They still had like all that stuff open. All the restaurants were open and stuff. I think a few of them were closed, but they were still raking it in Flamingoland last year, like without a shadow of a doubt.
I think the thing is, I don't think they'll start doing any more because the problem is no one knows when like anyone can open as it is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when you release news, especially in the UK as well, it's kind of like you release it and then it's done. You have that initial hype. So I don't think they'd start hyping it up until like it's close to opening, so it's fresh in people's minds. Because if they start releasing stuff now, papers, online papers will start reporting on it, and then everyone will just forget about it in like a month.
Do you know what I'd like to see them do?
It does make a lot of sense, to be fair.
I'd love to see them do a live stream from the park when the construction starts, just to start building that hype up again. Because there's people you talk to and they're just like, it's just Colossus, it's just Colossus with lap bars. But it's not. It's actually a lot,
But that's a massive deal. Colossus with lap bars is awesome.
Then just put lap bars on Colossus.
That's why I think they should have released the name by now.
Yeah, exactly.
So we stopped calling it Colossus 2.0.
Yeah,
and
that's
true.
Yeah.
By just calling it a Colossus clone every time, you're making people think of Thorpe Park. When I think of that ride, I think of Thorpe Park.
And they're sat there going, they're calling it Colossus. Should we just name it Colossus? I bet they name it Colossus.
Please don't.
Please don't.
That would be funny. Colossus.
Flamingossus, yes, Jamie.
Flamingossus.
Yes.
Brilliant. Right.
That's what everyone in the Coasterbot Discord calls it.
Hey, Harry's in the chat. Hello, Harry. How
Harry.
you doing? Oh, your pictures are up on the wall behind. See that? Goes down here. We've got.
But yeah, I think, to be honest, Sean, I think that's it. Like no one really knows when the country is going to be in like an actually good position for parks to open and stuff. So it kind of doesn't make that much sense to really start pushing marketing for it when at the very least we're not going to be like the park's not going to be open for another 3, 4 months.
Well, that's it. Like everyone, they know that enthusiasts know about it, but they don't care. Like no park is main audience is like enthusiasts. It's just not.
Yeah.
So it's until when they release a name for it and things like that, that's when it'll start getting reported on. That's when like people who maybe haven't been to Flamingo Land in like a couple of years or something will go, oh, there's a new thing there. So we'll go.
What you think is going to happen then when we return to parks is there's going to be a massive campaign for it, like a radio campaign, TV campaign.
There'll be something. There'll be something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
How extensive it is, I have no idea.
Similar to something like Water Valley. You just want a name. So we just want a name. Like,
I just want a name.
Like, it's
name your child.
Yeah. Name it. Exactly. Yeah. Towers becoming is it a vaccine or is it a test center?
It's a testing center.
Is it testing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember which of the two it was.
Yeah, that's cool. Disney have done it for vaccines, though, haven't they?
Yeah. Disneyland. Yeah.
That's crazy. Like,
which is really cool.
It is cool because it's a big area, isn't it? So
it's a big area. They can set up temporary buildings. They've got car parking right there. They don't have to worry about that.
I reckon they get some kind of compensation as well, definitely. So it's income as well at the end of the day. So it makes sense.
I wonder if other parks in California will do the same, because California is a huge state, and Six Flags Magic Mountain could possibly do the same and service, the central,
even
the
central
like
Great America as well. Like
California's Great America, Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, they could do the same, service North California.
Yeah, there's so many. Like even just any park it's just a big area. Like they're using the Etihad Stadium here in Manchester. That's been going on for about a week now or something like that. So that's crazy. Like they're going to be open 24/7 soon. I think it's just going to be a mass. Anywhere that's got a massive venue is just going to basically be used for
that's closed. I only say California because their parks are still closed.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
Well, Chessington was used, weren't it, in the first?
Chessington was testing,
yeah. But Chessington has 2 car parks, doesn't it? So at least they can still like run. to some extent.
Yeah, definitely. So it's Thorpe didn't do anything then, did they?
I don't think so.
Not that I know. I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything about Thorpe. No. Right. Let's have a look in the chat, see if there's any questions, and then we'll talk to Luca about his. Awesome
I think
I need to quickly go double check on this because
go for it.
I think the phone died, so I don't have a. Basically, I've got a 3D printer. I was keeping an eye on a 3D print.
Yeah, he's using his own phone as a webcam, like on the Discord chat. So there's 2 people in the Discord chat.
Well, now there's 1 because I think the phone died. So let me check.
It's brilliant. Absolutely.
I think there was a question in the chat asking what rides Luca operated at Thorpe Park. If we get into that at some point.
I saw that.
Yeah. So let's get into that. So Luca, you work at Thorpe. What's it like working at Thorpe, man? I bet that's pretty cool, right?
Oh, it's honestly one of like the best jobs that I've had.
Love it.
It's great.
There was a question in the chat from who I can only assume is related to you, saying, "Why is Luca so bad at Rocket League?"
That's my brother.
How bad are you at Rocket League?
Not very good. Not very good.
So why is that?
Just awful.
Not enough training. Like Rocket League takes a lot of like. Yeah, seriously, right? If you want to play Rocket League like at a good standard, you've got to play it like a lot. Like you've got to play it big time.
So which rides normally then do you operate then, Luca? Which you go to ones?
So it's like random per day, and the park's like split into 3 areas of rides. So like the area I work in has Stealth, the Swarm, Detonator, Flying Fish, Dodgems, Teacups. I think that's it.
Flying Fish every time, right?
Rumble Rapids.
And Rumble Rapids and Tidal Wave, as well. They're the other 2. And I operate all of them apart from the Swarm. So I'm pretty well travelled.
Yeah.
So does Swarm have its own dedicated crew or something?
No, so it's like within our area we have like a half and a half. So like you'll have 3 in each. And then you'll be put onto like 1 in your half that day. But it allows for mixing as well, hence why I have more than what I should. But yeah, it's really good. And you get a lot of experience.
Yeah, definitely. So how long have you actually worked at Thorpe then?
I started in 2016. but I was just a host that year. And then my first proper season as an operator was 2017, and I've just progressed up rides since then.
So how do you transition or go from transition to say being a ride host to kind of becoming a ride operator then? Do you have to sort of work your way up to that, or is it just a case of you've got the experience of the park and you can kind of move forward then?
It's a bit of both, really. You obviously have to be like someone that's fairly trustworthy, because obviously you're going to be operating a ride.
Yeah.
But then like you normally would build your way up from like a smaller ride into like the bigger rides, and then eventually like the big rides like the coasters and the water rides. So like my first ride was Dodgems, and I've just kept it ever since. Eventually worked my way up. My first like major ride was Tidal Wave. Nice. And I got Rumble Rapids the same year, and then Stealth later that year as well. So yeah, it was.
What's Stealth like to operate then?
Oh, it's brilliant! It's brilliant.
So, I've got a bit of a deep question. What's your favourite ride to operate? And I'm very certain that none of the rides will get like offended if you pick a different one. What's your favourite to operate?
I go between two, really. I really like to operate Rumble Rapids, but I feel like that's because you have like more to look at. But then I also like to operate Stealth because it's just Stealth, really.
You get some funny reactions on it. Is that why?
Yeah, Stealth's incredible, man.
Every ride's different, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Firing that off, it's cool. Me and James did it behind the scenes on Stealth, and it was it was amazing, so eye opening. Like
being in the launch bunker when it launches. Jesus.
That room's massive.
Yeah, so loud.
It's loud as well.
Me was behind, obviously, we're behind the glass,
screen,
right?
yeah.
And that was a cool day. That, and actually being underneath it as well, like when we came out.
Yeah.
So how did you get that?
It was through
South
Times and South Parks.
Yeah.
Lovely.
How much? What was it like?
We did the full weekend, so we did Chesington and we did.
I was trying to remember how much it was per.
50.
Was it a weekend where you got ERT?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I worked then.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah, we got ERT, and then next day was it next day? Was it?
You got
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked a Stealth event.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, it was. No, next day we went and did Vampire.
No, that day, the first day we did behind the scenes on the first day.
Yeah. But we also did Vampire.
I actually think now you're saying that, and you sent me them photos of you operating Stealth. Like, I can just see your silhouette in the window. Like it's just you. Like you just know. Like no, Stealth's one of them rides, and Joe, like we'll have to talk about this. Like, you know, the hype that we like kind of all on the show before we went up there, and just talking to you in person, like, oh, Stealth's amazing, man, like it's gonna feel like nothing else you've ever done. And then
actually getting on it.
Yeah, what did you think? What was your first impression as soon as you unclipped that seatbelt and you were off that ride? What was you feeling, man?
Again?
I remember you actually saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you got off.
I don't know if you're interested, but there's a 5-minute queue on Stealth. Should rewrite? Yes.
Ran straight back around.
It really was. I mean, it's got everything on it. It's got the speed. It's got the height. It's got the intensity.
And didn't you get a front row the second time as well?
I did, yeah.
Front row is incredible.
Everything.
Yeah, you got really lucky.
Yeah,
when you on your trip to Thorpe. The amount of front rows you got, it was ridiculous.
Front row Inferno, front row on Colossus. After being in queue for 3 hours,
we got front row second. No, we got first train.
Yeah.
Not second train.
Yeah, well, it broke down, didn't it, when we got into the?
Yeah, that was really weird because all the lights go off. Then they come back on with the emergency lighting, and it's just like, what the hell has just happened?
What just happened? Like, is there an evacuation somewhere? Like, you know, because it was like proper bright, wasn't it, in the station?
Yeah, no, but it goes completely dark before that.
Yeah, it was like boom, boom. Like it was literally like someone pressed reset, like on the fuse box. Like that's kind of what it was like.
Jamie said, have you experienced any rollbacks while operating stuff? Which is a good question.
I have this is already a weird one because I've had rollbacks, but they've not been like legit ones. So obviously you get the normal, you get like legit rollbacks where it's like caused naturally. And then there was a day where there was a guy from Switzerland from Intamin who was actually programming like error messages and reset codes into the ride.
That's cool.
So like there would be times where it would launch and like the brake fins would come up and cause a rollback.
So it was intentional.
Yeah, but it was like when you're like programming it, so like the brake fins will come up at this time, the train will get this far up the track and then roll back. So I've had like 3 of them. That was in that was 2 years ago in like February before we opened. But I've never had like a proper one. I really want one.
Every time I go on that ride, I'm like,
roll back.
I'll never forget. It was one time I was in the queue line for Stealth, and it was just pouring down rain, and they were still running, but like I can't remember seeing the brake fins go up on the launch, but I remember just seeing the train launch and then immediately get halted by what I can only assume was the brakes up. But it literally just went. It just went. I was like, I saw it all happen. I saw it like take off and then just stop immediately. I was like, yo.
Those brakes are surprisingly strong.
They are, yeah.
Wow. Digital Dance just asked a question. Were you up there when I got stuck up the top during testing?
No, I wasn't there.
It was him. He pressed it.
No, it wasn't me. I wish it was. But
yeah.
He was running away at the time. He could see what was coming.
I remember like when I was playing on No Limits, trying to e-stop it at the perfect time.
Get to Valley all the time.
I've done it. I did it once.
Yeah,
did it once.
I've done that on a loop a few times, like timing it perfectly. It's so difficult.
I'm trying to remember. I think during when you were trying to make Colossus once.
Yeah, it stopped on the loop.
You managed to. It was
the curve.
It perfectly stopped at the top of the loop by accident.
And I did it again, and it did it exactly like it wasn't a fluke because the variables in No Limit sometimes things change. So I sent it around again, and it did exactly the same thing like 10 times. It just held there. It's like, damn it! Like, it's crazy. Like, there's a lot of things. What's the biggest challenge been for you when operating at Thorpe? Like, whether it be Rumba or Flying Fish, like, what's been the biggest challenge to overcome to make you really confident that you're operating these rides, you switched on?
This is a good question. This.
The first thing that comes to mind is when I first got trained as a Rumba Rapids operator. Obviously, because
just before you carry on, what's it like walking on that blinking
turntable?
Yeah, turntable.
You get very used to it.
Yeah,
it's like a very slow treadmill.
Because we do it like for a split second, and I'm like, whoa, like, and then just like, all right.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Yeah,
he's in rollerblades on
it. That's crazy. I've always wanted to ask a ride up on a rapid. Anyway, yeah. So back to your challenge as a rider.
So yeah, like the first water ride I had was Tidal Wave, where you're restrained really, so like nothing can go wrong. But like Rumba, when I first got it, was before all the modifications. Mm-hmm. So like there was no doors, there were no like center ring. So like it was a big like confidence thing because I was one of my areas like big time operators. Like I operated most of the major rides besides a coaster at that point. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, we trust you like more to get it like quicker than a normal person. So I got it as attendant host, and then got it as operator like less than a month later. Purely because my management team thought I was more than capable of doing it, but it was like a big step up for me, I would have said.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But
quickly
like
as well, like
yeah.
Legend.
So like through all that, like you that it went like a massive confidence thing, because at first I was like, I don't actually like operating this or like working on it. Like it scared me. But then like through like training, you learn like all the water rescue procedures, like what to do in every situation. And it's just made me like a lot more confident in what I do at work, to the point where like I'm probably like not trying to be big headed, but I'm like one of the most like knowledgeable people with that ride now, just because I like grilled myself to learn it like fully.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Like,
what would you say is the craziest situation that you've come across on Tidal Wave?
On Tidal
Wave, I haven't really had like a lot with Tidal Wave. What's like quite crazy is like when you run it 3 boats, letting them stack up is like ridiculous, because the other one just kind of sits there if you stack up, and it like fills up with water. So it's just trying to get them like all 3 like moving at once. Like
your idea was just pulling them in like in Venice.
So like you have a lot of time pressure with 3, but we haven't had it on 3 since 2019. So
I just realised halfway through your answer I actually meant to say Rumble Rapids. So I can't believe I said Tidal Wave.
It's an easy mistake.
I can answer that one as well if you like.
Yeah, why not? Might as well.
Go for it.
I never had like too much like issues until last year. Like I've had the odd like
Joe.
I actually we had a really weird one over like the 2020 season, where we had like a park-wide power cut, and one boat had literally like just left the turntable and didn't make it round, and it was the first time we've ever had that.
What?
Because normally
the
when
pumps
you like
would shut off. So
yeah. So when it gets like e-stop, the pumps go off, but normally the boats all make it round to like the bottom of the lift. But this was the first time we'd ever had it like not. And it,
why did it get stuck?
Yeah,
just before the hairpin turn, like that goes towards the tunnel. So it was quite early round in the layout. Like, and it was
when the pumps go off, it fully drains that top level,
but it drains so quick.
Yeah.
It was strange, because we were like, all of our like the only speakers that like reach it are in like the ride area zone. So like the whole ride area speaks to like that zone. So like everyone at like the bottom of the lift was hearing that there was one boat that didn't make it around. And we'd never like, we have procedures for like evacs from like the trough, but like we'd never had it that early on. Like normally if it's like when it drains, they're like normal point for a boat that doesn't make it would be the tunnel, and the tunnel's really easy. But that was a shock for us, because we were like, what do we even do?
So what did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? Can you tell us? Like,
we have these like mats that go on the trough, so like you're not slipping on the moss and stuff that builds up, and obviously it's still wet. And then there's these ladders that are attached to the side of the trough. But like every so often in the trough, there's like little holes where a ladder would slip in, but like not this early in. So we had to like put it into the grass in a sense, like. And make it stable, and then get them off that way. So it was like similar to how we would normally do it, but in an area we had never done it before. And we had to take them like out the back way and down like that road that runs parallel to Monk's Walk.
Oh, wait.
Normally we like walk them round the back to like, there's a little gate by the entrance bridge on Rumble Rapids. We normally walk them that way round. So we were like, we have to take them a completely new route. That was quite cool.
Yeah, that is crazy.
That was quite unique for them as well, because it would have been an experience that you'd never had that not happened.
We like explained to them, we're like, you're like the only people that have ever had this.
That's a cred. That's an evac cred. That is
rare cred in itself. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy how quickly, like, for the fact that it just had left the station when it cut off.
Yeah, literally.
Like it just shows how quickly the trough does actually drain. The fact that they only made it to the hairpin.
When we have like evac procedures, we're told like once it e-stops or like a power goes off, the first thing you need to do is to get the people out of the boats on the turntable, because they like drain so fast that they'll like, by the time they drain, the actual boats are like lower than the level of the turntable.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing you have to do, because they go down so quick.
How deep is that trough? Like how deep is it?
majority points it's like waist height, I would say.
Yeah.
But like there are significant points where it's like a lot deeper, like where the wave maker is, because of like the fluctuations in the waves.
Yeah.
But like majority is like it's like waist height, so it's not too deep, but it's fast flowing, which
That's
is
deeper than I expected.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, it is definitely.
Rapid troughs are deep in general.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, every boat's a different weight, isn't it? As well, like that. Yeah. So that's there's so many variables to it. Like I love Rumba Rapids though. Like it's just one of them.
Such
usually
always walk on.
Yeah, it is.
It's a must ride at Thorpe. It's a must ride.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
It actually is.
Like
I do really enjoy it.
And the views you get a stealth are stunning from it. So
yeah, for sure.
And Inferno when you come back round, like it's so cool. It's definitely. I don't think that layout would work in any other park like that.
No.
It's just sat perfectly for Thorpe.
Yeah, it's really good for like its positioning in comparison to other rides.
Yeah, definitely. So, what's next then? What are your plans on trying to get on operating next? Or
so hopefully, like eventually, I want to operate the Swarm.
Yeah.
Which was like my goal for last year, but then we had the whole situation where we had half a year. So I was like, I'm pretty content. Oh, so I was pretty content with like my skill set, but eventually, yeah, I want to operate the Swarm.
Yeah,
that would be.
What about Inferno?
Inferno's not my area, but I'd love to give it a go.
That's strange how it cuts off like the areas, because you said Detonator, Rumba Rapids are both in your area, and then they're literally
Inferno.
Yeah. So like my area has like all the rides on like that kind of slither of the park. So like Stealth, the Swarm, Flying Fish are all like in that little slither. So it makes sense, but then like Rumba's like the only thing that's not near.
That's the one thing that always confused me about Thorpe is for the ops ride areas.
Yeah,
because like
it used to be a lot worse.
While Flying Fish is kind of close, it's a long walk to actually get to it from Stealth.
Yeah.
It's like I don't. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's a weird. Ride areas are kind of strange.
Do operators get to go outside their areas much?
So the areas like themselves change. Like when I first started, they changed like yearly, but we've had the same rides in our area for like the last 3 years now.
Right.
But when I first started in 2016, we didn't have Rumba, we didn't have Tidal Wave, we had Storm Surge, and we had Depth Charge instead.
Storm Surge.
But then, when I first
I remember seeing you on Storm Surge actually.
when I first started, there were 4 areas, and then the following year there were 5. But then like that included Darren Brown as its own mini area, and then the following year.
With that ride?
You tell me. And then like the following year, they cut us down to 3 areas. So like my area merged with another, which is where we gained the water rides from. So like it changed quite a lot. So I've had like different skill sets throughout the year, but yeah, like we don't get much of a movement. But then once you become an operator, you get your 3 and your half. Then like that would mean you move over to the other half and get the other 3, which is what I've done. So then I've got everything besides 1, and I have the Swarm as attendant anyway. So eventually.
That's so awesome. Right, let's have a quick look in the chat. And guys, there's 29 people watching currently. Smash like, guys. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels in the description. Subscribe to Luca's channel as well. He's got an awesome channel. Got some sick vlogs on there. He's got oh mate, let's talk about Leesburg trip you did.
Oh yeah.
That looked amazing. Like you was on the transfer table in the opera.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh wow. Leesburg are an incredible park to like work with when you like get in contact with them. My first like ever visit, we went with like a coaster club event, and then
was it Pleasure Beach Experience?
Yeah. So we went with them, and then they mixed with like a Dutch group as well. So like there were 2.
Oh, that's why there was so many of you.
Yeah. So it was like Pleasure Beach Experience and a Dutch club.
Yeah.
And then like I became like goodish friends with the guy who like took us round. So then, like every time we've gone back, I'm like, oh yeah, like we're coming, like we should see each other.
Yeah.
And then that one year that we went, it was just like the four of us with him, and then they were like, yeah, come with us, and then we went out onto like the transfer track when they added a train, and it was just incredible.
Cool. Liseberg is one of them places I've been saying for years.
I want to go to Liseberg.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Like
again, almost went end of 2019.
Yeah,
technically
it's such a good park.
But literally, I was on the booking page for the flights and the hotel. I was literally just going to go by myself for a weekend, and then I double checked the ride opening because it was the winter event.
Oh yeah.
Helix isn't open.
But they have Baldur and Valkyria.
Yeah, but
Helix.
I was like, if I'm gonna go, I want to go for Helix.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's be honest.
So, yeah, that scrapped that idea. And then 2020 happened, so I didn't get a chance then.
Yeah, and we were gonna go, but I mean, when you was going towards Helix, he was like, it's finally happening.
Yeah.
And then you get on it, man. Like, what is it? What is Helix like? Like, seriously, because I've had so many people say, it's all right. It's not amazing. Some people are like, it's the best ride ever. Like,
yeah.
What was your initial reaction coming off of your first
ride? Exactly. Yeah.
My first ride, I won't lie, was kind of underwhelmed, but like I could appreciate the ride for what it is. Like the layout is incredible. But over the day, like I grew into it, and then it only got to where I think like it is in terms of like my favorites, based on the night ride, because the night ride on it is incredible. It's one of the best night rides I've been on.
I can imagine.
Like the train is so well lit, and then even off ride it just looks incredible at night.
Yeah.
There's one point in it, I've not ridden it, but like there's one point. Like in the second half, it seems like you go over an airtime hill and you just see all of Gothenburg.
That's incredible. It's incredible.
That view looks insane.
That part, like you go like through it comes like after the inverted top hat, and that part's crazy because like it's not high off like the ground in terms of where the ground is, but then like if you look to the side because you're on the hillside, you're actually something like 200 foot in the air, like upside down. It's actually ridiculous.
Nuts. Imagine doing that in stealth, like
literally.
Wow.
Like the height, like elevation change from like the tallest part of that ride to the lowest part is actually ridiculous. Like that hill is massive.
Even the concept idea they had in that documentary that they do on Helix, the first renditions of the layout they had, that ride that they were gonna plan, like that was just crazy.
Oh yeah.
That looked nuts. And then they got the Helix plan together, and I was just like, yeah, that fits. That is
it's so well fit
such
to
a
that
good job
park.
with it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it in the flesh.
Trims in the chat said it seems to have a common review. Good layout, airtime, hang time, but the launches suck. Like, is that something you can attest to?
It's
like,
a Mac launch, though.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be called launches, should they? They should just be called boosts.
Yeah. That's exactly what the park said. They call it like a speed boost. The guy Pontus was saying, he was like, they're more speed boost than launches because they're just there to maintain the speed. And the second launch they used mainly to get back up the hill.
That's why it's inclined, isn't it? It's not like a straight launch. It goes up
it's like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite steep.
It looks pretty steep.
So Luca, obviously, like I'm assuming everyone here has been on Icon. How would you compare Helix?
Mikhile hasn't.
Oh, Mikhile.
God's sake.
It's all right. He's been on everything else in the US, but he's not been on.
Exactly. No, we'll change that this year, won't we?
We win. I win one.
We've all got one up on him. But I'll finish the question. So for the benefit of all of us except for Mikhile, how does Helix compare to our very own Mac multi-launch?
For like in terms of like how it feels, they feel pretty similar.
That's good.
I just think the airtime on Helix is significantly stronger. Like it's like rip you from your seat airtime rather than
yeet out your seat. Oh,
yeah. But like in terms of the trains are like identical. Apart from Helix has like one extra car. so it's like a longer train. And then the only difference that I noticed was when you sit like back row helix, you get airtime out of the drop out of the station, which was a weird sensation.
That looks cool. Straight into the inversion.
Yeah, literally. That little drop, and you get like flung from your seat.
It does look like it takes that drop pretty quick. Like,
yeah,
you watched it from the actual station. I've seen a few vlogs and on that documentary as well. It just goes like it just drops off. Like it you can feel it like when you're watching it. Like the airtime. I get that sometimes. Like when you're watching a POV, like I know what it's gonna feel like because the first experience of that was the mine train at Portaventura where it drops out the station a little bit. That was my first experience of airtime out of the station, and I loved it. I was like, "Wow, this is sick!" And then it was just like jank all the way around. But that moment was good. It is a good ride though. Like
I was cool. Like, I kind of just think that Helix, I would say, objectively, has one of the best, if not the best, layouts.
In terms of how it all flows,
in terms of element progression, how it just keeps hitting you with different things, over and over again, like in terms of element progression. And I mean, like I suppose having done Time Traveler and Copperhead Strike, like I can have some sort of idea of how each element arrived.
I would say so. There are a few moments in Copperhead Strike's layout that even would probably match up to what Icon does at some points as well, like in the turnarounds and stuff like that. Like how a Mac feels if you've ridden that. I would say if you've ridden one Mac multi-launch, then you pretty much know what it's going to feel like in terms of
for sure,
like how it's going to be, how you're going to sit, how how comfortable. We say it every week, man, but they're so comfy. Mac launch coasters.
Yeah,
their seats are beautiful. Like
I love them.
When you stack up a bit on Icon at the back and you just sat there just chilling at the back of the station, it's like this is so cool.
Yeah, this is alive.
It's like
they are just so comfy. The restraints do. I did find on Copperhead Strike at least, like the restraints do tend to just staple you a tiny bit. Not to the point where it's uncomfortable or anything, but like you do tend to feel it maybe a little bit more than you would want.
You can feel it for sure with Helix. Like when you leave the station, you can feel the restraint is significantly less tight compared to when you hit the brakes, and you're like, you can feel it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, that's why I'm looking forward to getting on Icon. That's why I'm looking forward to getting on Icon, so I can just compare that to Copperhead
I can't
Strike
wait to get you on Icon.
And then Helix.
Like.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get you on Icon. Like,
well, I need to be there for that as well.
Well, it will be, won't it? It'll be opening whenever that is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, by the way, James, we got refunded.
Oh, for
the hotel. Yeah, they just sent a refund. So
sweet.
Sort that out after.
Awesome.
So that's that cancelled. So yeah. But
I thought they would because they said anywhere that was closed, they'd just automatically sort out.
Yeah. It's a shame, but we have to do what we have to do, don't we? And I think when we do finally open up in this country, like it's going to be just so amazing to see everyone and stuff. Like I was so hopeful for Velvet Coaster in Feb, man. I was so.
To be fair though, the Velvet Coaster last year, like the queues out of Velvet Coaster just on a random weekday.
They were round the back.
Man.
Like
I don't think it would have been the same anyway.
Nah.
You know what I mean? So.
We'll have to just like go in that little park bit there and just have our own little.
Get some white lightning.
Yeah, some white lightning.
Get some white lightning.
Get the K-Cider in.
Oh God, Sean, you owe me a drink, so you can buy me some white lightning.
Yeah, get some white lightning.
I don't believe I said that.
On the internet.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing now.
Sorry,
Mum. You're going to get some white lightning.
The fact that you went for white lightning and not anything else, like, come on, man.
Strongbow.
White lightning's cheap.
Yeah, £2 for 3 litres or something, isn't it?
Hey, here we go.
That is
yeah, but back to Icon. Yeah, Mikhile, honestly, I can't wait. Like, I know what you're gonna say already. I know what you're gonna say when you come off it.
Really, what am I going to say?
Because you've ridden some of the craziest coasters in the world. So when you come off it, you're going to be like, yeah, it was good, but you know,
you look sluggish off ride.
Sluggish off ride.
That'd have been funny if I got my words out.
Looks like it's crawling.
Too much white lightning. So
I mean, like
questions in the chat. Let me have a look.
You'll think it's what most people think when they first do it, or they go, "Oh, it's really fun," but it wasn't as mad. And then, but as you start doing it, you know, as it gets later on in the day, you'll end up loving it. I think.
This is the thing. Like I always try to just keep rides in their proper perspective and their proper context. Absolutely. So like when I got on Wickerman for the first time, I tried to tailor my expectations to exactly what I thought they were going to be, and that's what it turned out to be. So like I wasn't underwhelmed or anything. Yeah. Like I think Wickerman's really good. I think it's a really good Woody.
It's a shame you didn't get the pre-show and stuff though for your first ever ride in it, because for me that really stood out to me. Like when I first did it.
Going into that pre-show for the first time, I was just like, whoa, that's cool.
Really it takes you out of that feel of you're just going to go on a wooden coaster, because from the pre-show to the station, it's just this massive build-up, like huge build-up, and then you mean, oh, I'm on a wooden coaster, and when you're going down the first drop, like it just plays with your mind, like
it ties it all in together.
Yeah, it's so clever how it works.
I think for me it was like just obviously being in the queue, being like, oh, this looks like, you know, this looks like a good family coaster.
Yeah,
and then doing the pre-show.
Yeah, that pre-show changes it.
Changes the mindset, and then
I remember when you first saw the ram's head, James.
Yeah,
like, that you was like,
cool.
Oh, I was like, yeah, this is so cool.
That projection mapping is awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the most favorite things I like, you know, as an enthusiast, is when someone who you're with hasn't been on the ride that you've been on, so you kind of like it's kind of like you're going through it again.
And that's the thing with Wickerman, because
so
I knew it wouldn't be years till I rode it.
Yeah,
I specifically didn't watch videos.
No.
Oh, see, I've seen the entire pre-show already, like on YouTube videos and stuff, but
and the smell went.
I mean, the smell was still there when I rode it, but
wait,
like I'm gonna like it's gonna be good to see it in person.
Here's a question:
when I eventually do,
the smell, because you were wearing a face mask, did it smell really minty?
Yeah.
Minty?
Not really. Yeah, not really. It smelled like how it was supposed to.
No, when we went through, for some reason, like both of us thought it.
Yeah.
With the face mask, it smelled minty rather than smoky.
Really?
It was really weird. Or they might have screwed up and put the wrong liquid in. That was the peppermint one. Oh god.
So actually, just to go back to Leesburg real quick.
Yeah.
Luca, I got a question for you about Valkyria. Actually,
go for it.
So at Cedar Point, Valraven is.
I don't blame you for getting them mixed up.
Valraven is a coaster that really, to be honest, disappointed me because of the vest restraints. Like I think it would be just so much better if it had normal OTSRs, purely because you would get the free fall sensation on the drop. Yeah. And then like there's certain hang time moments in inversions and air time moments that you would actually feel if it didn't have vest restraints. Do you kind of feel the same way about Valkyria? By any chance? Or did you just really enjoy it?
I don't think the vests took away from Valkyria, but it has like the second generation vest where like the actual vest part doesn't lock.
Oh, that's right.
So like you can move a substantial amount more compared to like the old version.
Right.
And it makes it a lot better. Like I personally thought when you hang over the drop, you could feel yourself like sliding forwards because the vest is just like being less and less restrictive to the point where you are like just laying there, and my back was just like not touching the seat because I had leaned forwards in the vest.
Oh, that's good then.
And then the layout is so much like faster of a layout than what a normal dive coaster would be. Like it hauls through the layout.
Yeah,
it's so quick.
Yeah.
My first thought was that it felt more like a B&M Flawless, like after the drop, with how fast it went through the layout.
Really?
Yeah. So I liked it like a lot first ride, and it's still my favorite dive coaster, I think.
It does look like an improvement on the mini dives.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like it has a
really
much more
good.
interesting layout.
Yeah.
The trains look mean as well. Like,
the trains are well nice. I remember talking to Pontus when he was taking us on like a tour of it, and they said that when the ride was built, B&M were like, "Oh, it runs like too fast. Would you like us to like trim it or add some like do a different wheel compound to slow it down?" And they were like, "No." Why would we?
The lucky behemoths wasn't there. He would have been like, "Yeah, trim it down, do it."
Yes, trims. Trims and Aaron have been going at it for about an hour in the chat.
It really like makes a difference that it goes so much faster around the layout than like other dive coasters do. It's crazy. It's so whippy.
So, Luca, what other dive coasters are you comparing it to?
I've done Baron,
nice.
Shikra, and Oblivion as well.
Cool. So, yeah, I think the only one I've done is Shikra.
Yeah.
How does it compare to Shikra then? Just a lot faster throughout the layout?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, it takes the inversion very quickly. And then it has like a very different kind of layout after that. Like, it doesn't like have your standard like zero G roll like straight up. It goes into this like stall turn, which it goes through so quick. And then it has the zero G rolls really fast, like after that, and it has one of those like slow like incline twists that you would normally find on like a wing coaster. It just gives you like this crazy feeling, like that you like come out of your seat and then come back in, and that hits the brake run with so much speed still. Like when you think of like a Shikra, like it comes into the brakes, it's lost quite a lot of speed, but like that comes into the brake run hauling still.
That's mad.
That's what I think about Shikra. Like it after the splashdown,
water brakes. It uses it as a water.
Yeah. I mean those water brakes hit hard.
Yeah,
it's not got that much momentum going back into the brakes.
No.
Oh, you didn't get out Shikra when you went round.
It's a sensitive subject, mate. Don't.
I was about to say.
Why? What happened?
Yeah, we going into this.
Well, yeah, I want to hear what happened.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Well, it's the fact that when I was over in Florida, I was trying to like, I was planning to go to like Tampa and SeaWorld, and kind of like I got to the point where it's like we still had like our passes for like Disney and Universal, and I don't know, until you go there for the first time you won't realize actually how much there is to do just Disney and Universal and getting re-rides in and stuff like that. So I kind of made the decision to be like, I didn't had one day off, like I think I was there for like just over 2 weeks, had like one day off where I didn't do any parks, and I still felt like I didn't get everything in, like every reward I wanted to get. So I kind of just thought, I'm just going to focus on Disney and Universal, and we'll definitely be back next year. And now I think about it, and I'm like, I should have just done him. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I was just like, it just annoys the hell out of me now that I didn't just make the time and just go and do them. But it's one of them where you just go at the time. You just go with what you feel, don't you?
We need to start a GoFundMe to get Sean back to Bush.
Well, to be fair, we could go back. We could technically go back this year. That's what we was planning to do. But realistically, with everything what's going on, that's the problem. It's not going to happen, is it? It's just going to be like, I feel like once we can start flying again, I feel like flights are going to be so expensive, like more expensive than they were.
Especially for us now.
I'm tentatively holding out for November. Like as late into the year and outside of the holiday seasons as I can get it. So we'll see what happens then.
See what happens.
And
I guess.
Sean, you've got to think when you go back, they'll have Iron Gwazi.
Oh yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Well, teased by it. If anything, it's a good thing. You'd have been teased by it, and you'd have come away like, oh, I didn't get to go on that.
Yeah, that was my problem. I went in 2019. And they were literally just started putting track up, and I was like,
Well, while I was there, like there's a massive rumor that it might do like a soft opening, because this is where there was like full on been testing it for quite a while at this point. Actually no, were they testing it? I can't remember. There was something anyway. There was like
probably you went in March, right?
They did.
March.
There was a few people.
So there was loads of rumors, and I was like, it's very doubtful. But I was like, if they do, I'm just like gonna go there now. It was like
because like I'm not surprised because like it was really crazy because it tested for like 1 day, and then the day after we saw
employees.
What I can only guess was like RMC personnel.
That's right, because Tim Tracker did a video of it.
Right.
Well.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. See, that's what I saw Tim Tracker do it, and then he was like, "Well, could there be like some kind of?" But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that there was people on it that quick.
There's a whole rumor that they were taking it back down as well, weren't there?
The bloody rumors.
Oh, speaking of rumors, did we talk about Drayton?
No,
not on the live.
No. But yeah, there's something going on at Drayton, isn't there? They're selling Pandemonium, is it? Is that what they're selling?
Yeah, so apparently the Pandemonium is listed.
Pandemonium.
I know some people like that ride, but that does nothing for me. It's just it's not comfortable. They used to have Skyflyer before there, which was similar, but it was just you got way more like airtime and stuff in it, because it was the one, what were they called? You know, where there's like a cage above you, and then
I know what you mean.
And it was way better, but yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. But the rumors that are going around now is that they might be getting rid of Apocalypse, which I just can't see them doing.
Shock horror.
I just can't see it. Yeah, I can't see them doing it.
It's too much of a draw. Like that tower is special, you know.
Yeah. It's like, what would they even put there that would draw as much in as that? Like, it's crazy.
I mean, that's like them getting rid of Shockwave as well, you know, and chopping that, because there were rumors going around about that happening a while back as well. Yeah, I just don't see that either, personally.
It's a shock.
Sorry. Get out. Leave the chat.
See you later, guys.
to me, I'd hate to see it, but if anything, I could see Shockwave. I could see that more realistic, like them getting rid of Shockwave before Apocalypse. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to get rid of like one of the best rides, flat rides for me in the country. And it's one of these things where, like, Portland's Park,
I still need to ride the damn thing.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I've never been.
But Portland's Park are starting to realise like they need to expand more than just the kiddie market, because you want to, with a park, right? You want to get them in young, give them memories, and then they want to keep going back and then when they get to the age of like 14, 15, you don't want to have this thing where they don't want to go to the park with their family if they've got younger siblings. You then want them to go with their mates to the park, and that's just the way long term a park can survive. And Portland's Park seem to be realizing that and going, we need to get on that market. So if Drayton Manor then just turn around and say we're going to do the exact opposite and just focus on the kid market, it's a really bad decision. So I can't think of them being that silly.
There's too many parks in the UK trying to do that. There's too many parks trying to go down a family-only route. I mean, it even feels like Lightwater Valley is trying to do exactly the same thing.
That place.
There's far too many parks trying to do it. You know, you need to cater for kind of everybody, really. You know, from the small ones right to the full-grown adults.
It's because the bigger rides are just so much more expensive to run and stuff, isn't it? And they just look at it and go, well, we get more. Yeah. So that's the way they're thinking, but it's such a short-term way to think in terms of like, let's just, because it works for now, but going forward, like for example, like I've said this before, I think on here, but like Drayton Manor, Thomas Land has been so successful for him, but if they stop making episodes of Thomas Land, like kids aren't going to want to go. Do you know what I mean? Thomas Tank Engine, you can't. It's a lot of eggs to put in one basket, in my opinion.
It really is, and it's dangerous as well, because they started off with the opposite, with the the thrill attractions like Shockwave, and it's just it's crazy. It's like Lightwater Valley. I think did I read it? Did I hear it right on the video? They sold the park to the owners for for less than what they paid for the Ultimate, and that's what did them in as well. Like they went into debt so bad, like with that. I just don't want Drayton to. If they sold Apocalypse or if they got rid of it, like I don't know. I can't see a comeback from that unless they've got a serious plan to put like a Vekoma in there or
like one of the new gen Vekomas would fit perfectly.
Like that would be perfect. It literally would be. I don't think
even a Hyper over the lake, like.
They ain't gonna
Mako
have that.
there. Imagine Mako there. Like,
it'd be amazing. Don't get me wrong.
Not get ahead of ourselves.
And you see it from your
I think we're dreaming of it now.
I'd actually be able to see that from my house, probably.
It'd be a new construction channel if that ever happens.
Yeah. But saying that, it's crazy because I don't know. Luke, have you been to Toverland?
No, I haven't. Nah.
It's such a random park because it was like a kiddie park, and it was like when you see these indoor adventure parks. It's just on a random warehouse. It's like started off as that, and then they built like a few other rides, and then suddenly they just have Troy, and then they built. And it's so random.
To be fair, like Plopsaland felt like that when we went earlier this year. Like it's very kiddie friendly, and then they just had Anubis. We were like, it just doesn't fit with the park. It's such a good ride.
Now they built time traveler stuff.
yeah. Now they're finally.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it kind of is like if Drayton Manor if just had an RMC suddenly. Like it'd just be mental. Do you know what I mean? So
imagine if Portland's Park get an RMC.
Let's ask this question again.
Storm Chaser.
What's everybody's predictions? Do we think that the UK is going to get an RMC? And if so, where do we think it's going to get it?
Oh, mate.
I honestly don't think it's going to happen.
I would love to see one at Towers, but how, where, when, like, I don't know. But I would.
There's not been. I've never considered like Alton Towers having one, but like, there's actually a lot of people people I know who don't like spout just random stuff. I like that are saying like it's an actual consideration. So it's not until recently I've been like, oh, they could actually get one. But I just feel like Thorpe need it. I feel like Thorpe need it. Like I think they've gone so long without one. It would change. I think with Towers and RMC, it would be amazing, but it wouldn't change the park. Whereas with Thorpe, I feel like it would change everything. Yeah. And it would just be exactly what they needed to just try and get like not the same old.
Cement the future for them as well, wouldn't it? In a way,
another 10 years of no coaster.
It all depends what park gets it and what model. Because if Towers get one, I'd see them getting like the new version of the single rail, but like whenever the T-Rex model does come out, I think that's more like what they would get. Whereas like if Thorpe were to give one, I'd 100% see like the iBox one over a single rail. Like it just depends what park does it and what model they would get.
The single rails are just, they're not, the throughput's so bad for anything like a Merlin Park, I think.
That's why a Merlin Park will never get one.
So I think if they were to get one, they would wait for like the bigger version where they're two across. But then how long does that take, and how long do you wait, and do you pay into like the fees of being the first to have it? So like
I reckon
Towers would.
If they was going to go down that route, they'd probably get like the Hot Racer.
Oh yeah.
Switch track operated RMC, something like that would be cool. But I really think like behind the Swarm, it's just a perfect place. Like really
for sure.
Is.
Yeah,
it's just, I mean. You guys must talk about this in the house all the time, Luca. Like seriously, like you every day you go there. Oh, I've seen some wood, like seen some trees go down. Like
to be fair, like I have like there's a lot of things I'd love to see there. There's so much.
Yeah.
I saw the best meme either today or yesterday. That's just reminded me of what was it? It was like
is it the Simpsons bus?
No. It's of like theme park digs a hole, and then there was a picture of You know the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he's like doing loads of equations on a board.
Charlie.
That meme picture. Like, it had just that, and then just enthusiasts doing multiple equations on what on what like legendary, revolutionary, never before seen coaster is about to be. And then the park's just like, why are enthusiasts getting so hyped up over this toilet block we're about to put in? I was like, if there was an exchange that related to Thorpe more, I've not seen it yet.
I feel like I think thinking about it again, like I think Blackpool would be a strong contender if they were to use their car park, that they have just to the side, because it's not even like that big to justify it being a car park and wasted land. So if they could get planning permission to get new land, then they could potentially do that. But I don't know. I definitely don't think any of the wooden coasters will get RMC'd, because they don't have the space to actually. Yeah. I don't think they have the space to even
build anything new as it is.
I wonder if the park will do it themselves.
The land that all the wooden coasters sit on isn't,
it's so landlocked. Yeah,
strong enough for RMC footers, is it?
I think they'd be able to do it. I think they'd be able to do it with something like Grand National, because they'd come up with something, I think, but that's the only one that I would see them being able to do anything with.
Yeah, I think the dueling element would be, the racing element would be stripped out.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because it is quite a thin strip, isn't it, what they've got there? So that it could potentially happen, but I just think there'd be. It depends, because I feel like Amanda Thompson has a lot of nostalgia for these rides, just because it's from her family. Do you know what I mean? It's like a family. It's not like a company that is just coming in and doing it. It's
and that's why I said before, I wonder if the park could ever do it themselves, like make these wooden coasters back to how they were, make them better, because they've got the teams there to do that at Blackpool. They've got a lot of the maintenance there to do that, and they've got a lot of creativity as well at Blackpool. Like, there is a lot of creativity in that team of people at Blackpool. You can see it. There's definitely a new generation coming through, and it all started with theming of Nickelodeon Land, to me, to be honest with you, and then closing the gates, making people pay to come in. That was the turning point. So where now they saw a target market they wanted to go for, and bam, they've gone for it. Yeah. And it's worked. Like, they've made so much money in the last 5 years. It's been crazy amounts. And to build Icon as well, don't forget that.
I think that's the thing. That's why I love Icon so much. I think it's the fact that when I ride it, I'm I still can't believe this is in, when I first did it, I was I can't believe this is in the UK.
I also can't believe that it fits in the land that they've got.
They really squeezed that in.
We were at the top of the big one, Sean, weren't we? And Andy said that if they didn't clear it by, what was it, he said a number, I can't remember what it is, but it was
I can't remember now.
Within
on your video.
Yeah, I think it was half a meter or something like that. Then the Icon would have never have gone that way towards Steeplechase.
It's crazy how it fits.
It was such a lucky way it fit in there, wasn't it? It was it's crazy, really.
And it's so close. When you walk up that lift hill and you look back, you feel like you can touch the top.
Yeah, honestly, it's so close.
I would love to see the ride running, man, and stand on that catwalk.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
But then it's Steeplechase is such a waste of space. It
is a waste.
Oh yeah,
takes up a lot of space as well.
It's just silly. Massive. It's silly just having that there. It's not comfortable. It's not even. Sometimes you can do a ride and it's a bit janky, but you're oh, that was fun though. That was a laugh. Steeplechase just isn't. It just is not a laugh.
I didn't even do Steeplechase when I went.
No, not missing much. No, we didn't.
I'd rather ride Icon.
I always lose as well. Always lose. I always lose.
Sam's biggest complaint about Steeplechase.
That would suit a Raptor in that area. A Raptor track in that area would be, or a Mac Big Dipper. I think
that's the one I would go.
I think realistically, they've got such a good relationship with Mac now. I feel like that's going to be their new coat. Anything new is going to be a Mac now.
Imagine if we get a Pulsar or something like that.
Mate, that's an incredible ride. So
I want to ride Pulsar so bad. Pulsar looks so much fun.
Yeah.
How wet do you get on that thing?
Not very. Like
it doesn't look like you do.
We got more wet standing at the side watching it than we did on it.
Yeah, that looks crazy. That ride, it really.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites at Wallaby for sure.
Speaking of Blackpool, like one thing I need to do at Blackpool is go on Blue Flyer just to make sure I have the cred, because I'm not entirely sure if I actually do.
It's a solid little junior coaster. Right? You'll love it.
I cried my eyes out on it when I first rode it. I was like 4. I was like 18.
Yeah, I mean. But like even Nick Streak there for Blackpool is like a solid coaster. Like
that's my favourite. It's probably my favourite.
Oh,
really, honestly.
rides that make you cry. When I was young, ride that made me cry. Mr. Monkey's Banana Boat Ride. I was terrified of it.
I couldn't see that.
I was so young. I was literally like 4 or 5, and I was just like,
that is crazy.
Terrified of it.
That is crazy.
That is embarrassing.
Oh, that just reminded me of something I had a conversation about the other day. Actually, what was the last ride that you guys rode that gave you like a genuine like nervousness before you rode it? Like, do you remember the last time you were like genuinely nervous or scared before going on a particular ride?
Mine was probably a big one.
So for me.
Mine probably a big one for me. Just because of the sheer height of it. Like, I'm okay with stealth height because you're not up there that long.
Yeah.
whereas big one, you're going up and up and up, and it's just like, oh, that's tall, that's tall.
Genuinely, mine was quite recent. Well, relatively recent. Darren Brown's Ghost Train.
Oh,
I was nervous.
To be fair, I was a bit nervous when I first
Still not done it.
I had it spoiled for me through staff previews and stuff. So
I was one of the. When they were first opening it and I was letting like 100 people through every now and then. I was in a group of 100. I was so scared.
I think any for me, like any scare maze or anything like that. That's just like, anything like that.
Oh God, man. Revolution stairs.
Oh yeah.
They are horrible. I hate.
Doesn't bother me, but Joe gets really.
I changed my answer actually. Thanks, Aaron. I changed my answer to Rev stairs. They are horrifying.
To be fair, like mine isn't even like that. Like it's recent. But mine was Zadra because it was like A, my first RMC, and B, the first time I had been on a coaster that like kind of style and that big with just that little restraint. And the first time I had done like that kind of 0G stall or whatever. So like that was like
anticipation.
I don't know what I'm gonna think of this.
Yeah.
How was
you could see it
0G
from
stall?
everywhere. Oh, it's one of my favorite elements ever, 100%.
It's
but like
so tall.
You could see that coaster. Like we stayed in an Airbnb just like near, and we could see Zadra and Hyperion from our Airbnb. Like,
that's crazy.
That's
even like,
go on. Sorry.
Even like when you enter, like you come in like round the corner by Hyperion, and you could still see like the lift hill of Zadra like right at the back of the park. It's
huge,
crazy.
Isn't it?
It's crazy.
That stall is so tall. Like I can't get over it because like stalls on other RMCs don't look that tall, but that one looks high.
One's high. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't slow down for it. Like it's fast, but you still get an insane amount of hang time.
Yeah,
but that coaster just doesn't slow down.
I dissed it in my video. I did as well. I ain't even been on it, and I love the look of it.
Oh, it's crazy.
What I say mine is, mine has to be Intimidator 305.
Oh yeah, I can. That looks
that
it's definitively the most intense coaster I've ever ridden.
Describe the feeling, please.
Well, like I'd never grayed out on a coaster before that. That I knew of anyway. and I just fully grayed out. I rode it in the first row on my first ride because of course I did. and just the like I grayed out on the first turn, but it's not even really that got to me. It was the rest of the ride, because the rest of the ride is just, there's such a stupidly high sense of speed and aggression in it, that especially in the whippy transitions, but even in just like the force of the positive G's in the turns as well, like those long turns, it's such a physically taxing ride. I can't rewrite it for that long.
It's just like the sustained force of it is overwhelming.
Yeah, literally. I remember after my first ride, I came off it. I said to my friend, I was just like, I feel like I've just done like 2 hours in the gym.
Sound good.
That's how it felt. I love the thing, but my God, it still gets to me to this day. I'll be nervous the next time I ride it.
I don't know what. I honestly don't know what coaster I've had that feeling for, because
I can't think of anything recently, because I've never had that. I know that a lot of people, it's strange how a lot of enthusiasts a lot of them started off being like quite scared of roller coasters, and it seems like
I was scared of it.
But I've never had that with coasters. It was only, like I say, it's things like ghost trains used to scare the hell out of me. Like not knowing what was coming. That was the thing that's the only thing for me that really like proper that's why I like doing them, because it makes me feel alive, man.
I think one of the weirdest feelings I've had in a queue line anticipation for a ride was 13 for the first time, not knowing what the drop's gonna feel like on the coaster.
Yeah.
Like I actually knew what it was going to do, but like actually experiencing it for the first time it dropped, I was like, whoa, like that was serious. You know?
Catches
you
off.
Drop towers.
I actually have one more recent, actually, I just realised. When I was at Thorpe last night for Oktoberfest, and I decided that I'd go on Detonator because of the audio. No. I hate Detonator. You can ride it, but... it was literally me by myself. I was the only person on Detonator.
What?
I was by myself on the ride. There was
God.
No one in the queue.
I'm probably drunk as well.
That's the one ride.
That's the one ride. I actually got anxiety. I was like, oh God, why am I doing this to myself? I don't know.
The instant
I know why.
regret.
It's because you did that monster one in Cardiff.
Yeah, that monster one wasn't as bad as Detonator though.
I hate Detonator
because Detonator
towers, but I hate
Detonator isn't free fall; it's accelerated from the top.
Yeah.
An actual free fall isn't as bad.
Yeah,
that's just reminded me.
I did like a 300-foot one in Cardiff. That rotated as well. Awesome.
That's just reminded me. I want to come back to this topic because it's a funny topic. But that's just, you mentioned Oktoberfest should remind me. So Luca, you must have operated through Oktoberfest and Fright Nights last year, right?
Yeah.
How was that experience operating through? Well, yeah, Oktoberfest and then Fright Nights. How crazy some of those nights can get.
Oktoberfest was really cool actually, because like we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, new vibe, right?
Literally nothing. We knew none of it. And then like getting there on that first day and hearing like the audio just suddenly changed, and we were like, this is cool.
I loved Oktoberfest.
Yeah, especially the stealth one. I really loved it.
Yeah, stealth.
And
can't wait.
The Fright Nights one really surprised me as well, because I was in work that day on the day of press night. And I'd operated stealth like the whole day, like throughout the day, and I was operating it that night. We do this thing where we leave it, but we like lock it off so like no one can use it.
Yeah.
And operate it while we're gone. And we'd come back, and then we sent like the first test train, and they had changed the audio from when we had been gone. So like hit dispatch, and we were like, what the hell is this?
What just happened?
It caught us so off guard. Like the whole team, we all looked at each other when we dispatched him. We're like, what?
That is so cool.
And Fright Nights was good like the last 2 years as well, because like operating stealth is different for Fright Nights because you have the show in the plaza. So like you can see like everything that's going on. You hear like they change the soundtracks. The like Amity loop is a different one for Fright Nights as well. So like, it's different music. So like, it's completely like
it's like a breath of fresh air, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a weird way.
The one thing I thought about Fright Nights was like because they were like building the Ben and Jerry's place like whilst we were there, they'd shut off like that little side path. So it's like they were doing the shows, and then it was like we were like with like Digital Dan and Ellie, waiting for the show to start. But then like because obviously it's meant to be social distancing, we're standing there. Someone comes and tells us to like stand to the side so everyone off staff could come past us, and then someone else was like, "No, get over there," and we're like, "Where do we stand?" It's just like I felt like it's such a good location for that show, but I was like, this year, I was like, with social distancing, maybe they should have like moved it somewhere else.
To be fair, they did like
absolute chaos.
They did combat it by like putting those markers where like they think people should stand, but I also think that they didn't put enough for how many people were turning up for that show, because it really so worked popular. For the festival show. Like everyone was well spaced, but I think they've really underestimated like how popular the Amity show was going to be.
Yeah, because did they end up putting like down the dots like they did in festival?
Yeah. In the end, they painted them, yeah, but I think they massively underestimated at first like how popular it would have been. So I think their mindset must have been like, we have a show here in this section, we have the other school which is technically a show as well. So like people will be spread out, but so many people came to that one show compared to the rest.
Yeah,
I think they just must have underestimated how popular it was, and it showed because it was one of the best shows.
What's your favorite thing about operating during Fright Nights?
For sure, it's like operating at night. It's different to everything. Like I love operating at night, especially.
At night is the best.
Yeah. My favorite, even just like attending the swarm at night is just sick. And when the lights actually work, it just looks so good.
I like the when they work. Rarity these days.
To be fair, they worked on one of the trains this year, but they were like every other row. So it kind of fit because it was like I made the joke to like my team. I was like, it's like socially distanced swarm aliens because it was like every other row would
work. That's brilliant.
So am I right in thinking that for the LEDs, they basically just have battery packs on the ride, which when it comes into the station gets recharged?
Yeah, they charge in the station, but I don't know why they either don't or don't work sometimes. Like
dead batteries.
When the train's parked in the station, because they're charging, like the lights are all on, and then you can notice it as soon as they leave the station, certain rows just go off.
Really?
Yeah,
potentially dead batteries then.
I guess it's a contact that the battery makes with something in the station track.
Yeah, is it the
all the contact pads or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
the Mac ones do that as well.
Yeah,
maybe they don't just come into contact to the degree that they're supposed to.
Maybe, yeah. But the Mac
complete stab in the dark on my part.
In there, Mikhile, go have a look.
I'm gonna take my magnifying glass.
The Helix ones do that as well because they charge in the station, and then like obviously they only charge for like a certain amount. The first time we rode it, they had like added the weird like seat belts, but they hadn't implemented it like as well as they have now. So they just had like waist seat belts, and the operations like suffered so bad. And you could tell when the train would pull into the station with the lights off because the batteries had run out of charge. but then like the following year they implemented like the new restraint with like the same seatbelt as like Copperhead Strike, where the seatbelt goes into the lap bar rather than around your waist. And it improved operations. But yeah, they charge, and then it had come back in like dark because the batteries had run out.
that is funny. So I think I found the answer to what intimidated me. It's Harak and Condor PA.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It is that huge.
Thing.
That's massive.
And the thing is, when you're in the station, you don't realise because it obviously disappears out. You don't realise how actual high it is, and when you're in Shambhala, you're like, hang on a minute, that thing's still still tall. What?
It's when you land in the airport and you're like, is that it?
Yeah, and it's
It
bent
will
as well.
askew.
Like, and the top of it's bent, and you think, why is he bent? Like
we had the same with Atmosphere at Liseberg. We actually flew over Liseberg when
that vlog. You go, look at the size of that drop tower.
Yeah,
when you were driving in.
When we went, like we flew over it, and we were like, "Is that a drop tower?" And then we realised it was the park. But what makes it like the worst for me?
Did you think it was like a telephone mast or something?
Well, we could see it from there, and we were like, "What is that?" And then we were like, "Oh yeah." But the worst part about it is because like the station's so weird because it's indoors, obviously. You don't see the tower from inside until you go out of the like. It's like an open air station, but like the queue line is all behind glass, so you can't see how tall it is until you go to get on it. And then because it's in that building and because it's on that hill, depending on which side of that ride vehicle you're on, your experience is so different because you go up and as soon as you come out of the building, you could be facing the city, which is the worst in my opinion because you look down the hill. You're like the hill's probably like 200 foot in itself, and then the tower is like 350 foot. So then you're like a lot taller. And then if you face the other way, it's not as bad. It's still tall, but it's nowhere near as bad.
I kind of would just want to be the side that faces the city, to be honest.
Yeah, so you literally have no idea where you are until you come out the top of the building and you see that you're facing the city and you're like, nah. It's so tall.
What's the actual drop like on it? Because like I found on these taller drop towers, aside from Hurricane Condor, because I think it's crazy, but on these taller drop towers, like the drop tends to be not quite as forceful as on shorter drop towers.
It's not forceful at all. Atmosphere.
Like people were mentioning Falcons Fury in the chat, and that's one that I was actually quite disappointed by because for all the scared feeling that you get from it being up so high and then it like tilting so you're facing like face down, the drop did nothing for me, and I was just
payoff ain't there, is it? That's the thing on that one, because even more so because it puts you in the flying position. It's like this is building it up. This is giving me the whole oblivion treatment of like don't look down, but then forcing me to look down. And then
I was so ready for Falcons Fury to be my favorite. Jesus Christ! I was so ready for Falcons Fury to be my favorite drop tower, and it just.
Yeah. What's everyone's favorite drop tower?
Oh, mine is Falcons Fury, but only for the tilt. A lot of my friends have been on. One of my friends has been on the other version at Groneland, and he says it's much more intense than Falcons
I want to do
Fury.
that. I want to do that. I've heard it's a more forceful drop.
Yeah, so like I love Falcons Fury for the tilt, but like I really want to go on the one at Groneland.
Is it an Intamin as well?
Yeah.
I love Apocalypse, even though it's like 170 foot. It's so intense, man. Like, and that's what surprised me about when I did Hurricane Condor, and I was like, that was like really not that intense at all.
Just fast. Just fast. It wasn't intense, but it was just fast when it got to like near the bottom. It was right. You could feel it like seriously pushing some speed down that drop. It doesn't get to speed quick, but when it does get to speed.
Yeah, you feel the speed, don't you?
Oh, yeah, like well and truly. And when you hit them brakes.
What's it like? It reaches around like 75 miles per hour, like the drop, which for a drop tower is pretty insane.
It's just where it is. It's a similar thing to probably Liseberg. If you come out of the station and you're facing Shambhala and you're facing off the cliff at the back of the sea and everything there. Because all you can see then is Dragon Khan and Shambhala. You don't really see the rest of the park. So it's like, you don't really know where you are. And it's insane to be going above a B&M. Like, just constantly going above it. And then, bam. And then
what's your favourite side on Hurricane Condor? Because it's got like 5 different sides, doesn't it? I can never remember which is which.
Do you know what, right? Out of all the gimmicks it has, sitting down is just...
the best.
I prefer sitting down because if you go, as Hurricane Condor got stand up flawless as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe
Because
so.
I never see the point in that because you're just hanging by the crotch. You're not standing.
It doesn't look comfortable.
You don't want
Hanging
airtime.
flawless.
Oh yeah, airtime, and then you come to
Not great. Not great. I like stand up. I do. I really like stand up. I think it's good.
Yeah,
I haven't done one of those kind of towers. Like the only one I had done that's similar is the one at Wallaby, Belgium, and all the seats are sit down, but it's the same kind of tower.
Yeah.
So I've only done it as sit down.
I love the fact they're standing up because it does make you wheeze. Your knees go weak.
Your wheeze.
It does make you wheeze.
It makes you wee.
I mean, at least you stood up, so you're not sat in a puddle then.
I find just the Fabry towers to be, they're the ones that do me in. Like, has anyone done, is it Jolly Roger at Pleasurewood Hills?
No, I've never been.
I think so, no.
I think my stomach's still at the top of that thing. That was crazy.
That's the thing. Like, I like drop towers, but I hate Detonator. It's the one I hate because it's just too much.
Right, Luca, do you know
I can't
this?
remember Detonator.
Is Detonator the drop tower that was at the Millennium Dome?
I have no idea.
There was a drop tower at the Millennium Dome, right? I went on a school trip there. I am sure it was Detonator.
Possibly because Detonator is like the traveling model of that ride.
I'm sure it was yellow.
So yeah,
it was yellow at the time.
I'm not
yellow
sure.
and red, I believe it was. Honestly, I do think somebody
I tried
knows.
looking it up, I couldn't.
Yeah.
If somebody
no
knows,
idea.
like seriously, if somebody knows, let us know in the comments because I'd really like to know because I went on it as a kid and it absolutely terrified the hell out of me.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it still terrifies me to this day.
Yeah. Has anyone got Detonator's number? We need to give it a call.
We need to know. I need to know that because I've always wanted to know, and I've always the first time I went to Thorpe, I was like, I've seen you before. Like, it was that feeling. You know?
Detonator is themed to Angry Birds now.
Yeah,
bombs away.
Detonator bombs away.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What a cop out.
I did not like that review. I just keep.
Do you reckon there's going to be an Angry Birds retheme, like a retheme of Angry Birds in that area?
Probably.
I think they would end up just putting it back to what it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it needs to.
Wait, what was it before? Was it Pirates?
It was part of Amity.
Yeah,
But
it was
the
part of
show
Amity.
was Pirates. So like the buildings were still part of Amity. But
It makes
the
sense.
Dodgers weren't there.
It's fine for how they've done it. And now with the island track being played everywhere as well, it brings everything together, doesn't it, really well?
They need to
that's
just embrace the Amity theme, I think, and because it is like the best part for me. They need to just go back to that, really. I hope they're not paying like a ridiculous amounts of money for like Angry Birds.
I doubt it.
They just got all the levels unlocked on all the phones. People do. Signed off on
it. Someone's at Merlin's just really addicted to Angry Birds. Still.
Yeah.
We'll do a deal. Yeah, we'll do a deal.
55 catapults, right?
No, I can really change it back and like, no, I've got to complete it. No.
It would more or less like complete that though, because I feel like stealth is really cut off from like main Amity because of it.
It's like a little weird corner, isn't it? Where it's
it's still like part of it, but like you have to leave Amity and then go through Angry Birds to go through it.
And then you've just got chaos going off behind it in the swarm. Like you just hear chaos all day. Like it's just crazy. I can't wait to get back to Thorpe. I really can't. Like
ASAP. As soon as.
Can't wait to get that to anything, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Just can't wait to ride a roller coaster again.
Yeah.
So
to Nemesis this year.
Carrying on the theme of nervous rides. Like what is one that you haven't ridden that you you think you would still have that like nervous or anxious or even scared kind of feeling?
I'd be anxious
they haven't done yet.
For Velocicoaster, just because I really want it to be good. I know that's kind of different to the question you're asking, but I'd be nervous for Velocicoaster.
Get what you
mean.
That's
I've invested so much into this ride of my time. I remember when it was just like
I get that nervous feeling on a lot of rides, but like not nervous as in going on the rides, but nervous I want to get on it, and then I'm like, I want it to be good. Like
you want it to meet your expectations.
Like I remember seeing like Shambhala for the first time and being in the queue like, don't break down.
Oh yeah.
It's like constantly being like that.
I think I'm the same because I don't really get nervous to go on rides, but like I get nervous for how I think they're going to be. Like it happened with Taron because I really like multi-launch rides and like I really like Cheetah Hunt, even though it's really underwhelming. Like I love the multi-launch aspect of it, and I was like the new trains, like everything, like a new area, and it was just like what am I gonna think? And I ended up loving it, and it's started my love for multi-launch coasters.
Yeah. It's just interesting to think about because I don't get nervous for most rides anymore. Like the last time that I was legitimately scared before going on a ride to the point where I chickened out was Nemesis, and then like once I rode Incredible Hulk, there we go. once I rode Incredible Hulk, it was like, okay, I can go on anything now. Like, sure. I'll do anything. So like, I haven't. It's like, when was the last time you really had that like sort of intense nervousness or scared feeling for a ride? Like I hadn't had that in years. I miss it, to be honest.
That's why I like ghost trains and
Steel Vengeance would make me feel a bit nervous because that just the sheer size of it, just like the mass of it as well. Just
what about like
Top Thrill?
Yeah, like Rossa or King Car.
Yeah,
King Car probably.
Yeah.
Even like Superman, like the one that comes back
the reverse
down.
one,
Yeah. Zero gravity.
Luca, don't you call that like a flat ride or something?
Sorry?
Luca, don't you call Superman a flat ride?
we have this joke that we call it because it's Archie's was Archie's favorite, and we're like, it doesn't do anything. But yeah, the whole like backwards launch that fast would be weird, I guess. That and there's like Mr. Freeze ones that go backwards as well, like just crazy.
Mr. Freeze is so good.
Just when you go backwards on the Revolution, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Mr. Freeze reverse.
Like, the closest thing I have is like the reverse launch on like a Skyrocket 2, and even then, that's like it's still good, but nowhere near as good as what these like reverse launch coasters look like.
Yeah, they look insane. Like Millennium Force would probably be one for me because of seeing it. Being built on Discovery Channel and stuff growing up, it'd be one of them where I'd be like, right, finally getting on Millennium Force.
Right.
Like, this is happening, right? Like it'd be one of them. Top Fuel Dragster definitely would get me going. Funnily enough, Stealth last year, because I've not been on it for 6 years. When I sat down, I started to get a shit ton of adrenaline. Like I was like, okay, here we go. Like I remember how it feels, but do I remember how it feels? And then bam, I was like, wow, I'd forgotten how good that ride was.
I think everyone you sit down and you're prepared, but you always forget how intense that launch is, and then it hits you, and you're like, wow.
Yeah,
like,
I literally like
this day, I still do it. Like I've been on it so many times, but every time I always underestimate how good it is.
Yeah, it's the pull up into that top hat is just that feeling when you leave the launch at that speed, going up high that quick. Like it's mad. It's literally doing a maneuver in a plane. Like it really is. It's just so fast.
So good.
I think
I literally like sat down and I was like, what the hell am I doing to myself? But obviously by the time I thought that, you're off.
Yeah.
That's like the worst thing.
I was quite nervous the first time I rode.
That's what you want to do. Like you see people that are nervous, you're like, I want to check their bars checked quick and get this train gone.
The worst
I was literally walking on like this. So I was like,
you can see people when they get on, they're like nervous, and
the worst one
them to go on. You check their bar and just get the train gone.
The worst one we had was when I went with TPM and did that photo shoot in the morning, and they were mean to us and decided not to have the lights on or the countdown.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
When the hell it's gonna go?
Yeah. I love doing that. It's funny.
And it's just like,
nasty.
okay, I'm gone. What? Okay, head's back there still. I don't know. Yeah.
That is brilliant. All right then, guys. Well, we've been going for almost 2 hours now. So if you guys got anything you want to plug, go for it now. Now's your chance. Joe, I'd imagine you want to say something about your awesome project.
I do, yeah. Yep. So this year is going to see a lot of changes to the Theme Park Insanity website, one of which we've already launched, which was the photo wall. So what we'll be doing is each month you guys submit your photos. We're going to be running a monthly competition to pick the best, and basically little sort of monthly prizes with a massive annual prize at the end of the year for the overall annual winner. However, we have also launched the official Theme Park Insanity Forum. Now, this is a chance for you guys to come on, interact, discuss everything theme parks, from theme parks themselves and your visits to gaming to so much more. Not only that, but of course you can also, if you want to advertise a small business. If you have a business that falls in the sort of theme park and attractions industry, or any sort of connection in terms of hotels, travel, whatever you want, we have a dedicated section within there where you can put all of your details down and your company name. You can do it all free. There's no charge whatsoever. On top of that, if you are a content creator and you do want to get your content out there beyond the realms of social media, of course there is also the chance to do that as well. So it's fully interactive. You can come on, register, and basically just go to town, share your passion with everybody. We're looking to obviously kind of hopefully grow that community as we do go forward. So please come check it out. It's within our website. You can click it from the homepage. So do check that out. And coming later, either this month or early next month, we have something extremely special, which I'll share a lot more on very, very soon. So there we go.
Awesome, man. That's
exciting
cool.
times.
That's really cool, man.
And
I just want to say as well, while you're here, Joe, congrats for getting 1K on the Keep You in the Loop group that we did.
Thank you very much. That's absolutely epic, yeah.
The link's in the video description if you want to join it on Facebook. It's really cool, awesome community. People are always posting there every day. It's probably 4 or 5 posts every day, just people sharing stuff, putting pictures of merch and all that stuff and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's a great place. It really is. It's really cool.
And we have a wonderful community. Everybody's amazing. So,
and the Theme Park Insanity page is almost at 3,000.
That's crazy.
Followers as well now, so that's pretty epic. Wow. So if anyone wants to, I mean, everyone else has liked it. So if you're in the chat and you haven't liked it yet, like as well.
Not only that as well, but we do have a big giveaway planned for 3K. So as soon as we hit 3K likes, not follows, likes, massive giveaway, guys. And there'll be more on that very soon as well. So there we go.
Sweet.
Excellent. And shall we shout out Rita's Appreciation Society?
I think we should, Aaron? I'll leave that to you, Sam.
All right, I'll do that for Aaron. They're almost at 200 likes over in the Rita Appreciation Society. So if you have ever ridden the Queen of Speed, you've got to like it. It's actually, from what I've spoken to Rita, and she says it's mandatory to like that page.
So you now scan a QR code when you go on the ride.
Appreciation is mandatory.
That is brilliant. Yeah. Anybody else want to plug anything away?
I've got a new Left Link video out today, so just go check it out on ParkSpill.
That was really cool. I enjoyed that one, mate.
Yeah,
I did enjoy that.
It was good.
It was cool. Very factful as well. It was full of facts. It was cool. Yeah. I liked it.
Interesting number one as well.
Nah. That's a great ride.
Honestly,
spoilers.
No spoilers. Everyone needs to watch the video to see what the number one is.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, and guys, if you don't know, the Planet Coaster competition is ongoing now and will end on the 8th of March. You can download the island and you can start building all of your amazing creations. I've seen some so far, like on Instagram and Discord and stuff. And some of the things you guys are doing are crazy. Luca, are you entering?
I'm planning to, yeah. I've downloaded and started building, so yeah.
I said it on the stream the other night. Awesome. I underestimated so badly how big that thing was. Like, I built a hyper and I still had tons of room to work with. So yeah, guys, make sure you download it. Links in the video description below to go to the Steam Workshop. It's for PC only. And there's loads of streams as well to tell you how all the rules are on the Steam Workshop as well. Well, yeah, guys. Well, thank you so much for everybody watching tonight. It's been an awesome podcast as always. It's been fantastic. We're almost through season 2 now, so season 3 will be starting soon, which is like crazy. Like, we're up episode 14 next week, which is insane.
What separates the seasons?
When we get to too many where we can't upload to Anchor anymore and it says you need to start a new season.
We're dictated by an external force.
We'll probably do it to 15, like probably
Boris Johnson.
We'll go as long as our Spotify overloads let us.
Yeah, we'll do that, and I do actually have to upload. Yeah. We are.
Can I promo my video?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I made a video on the Velocicoaster because I love it very much. So please go and check it out. And there might be a few marks on the screen actually that Luke pointed out, but aside from that, it's a pitch perfect video.
I'll check it out, definitely.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Honestly, thank you so much, guys, for watching tonight. Luca, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Honestly, it really has. It's been great.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's been awesome to hear this.
Anytime you want to come online, just give us a shout. If you want to hang out, just let us know. We're
Luca looks like he's on Velocicoaster right now. He's really
he does.
Yeah, with blue.
No, I've got my Taron poster behind me, so.
Oh, yeah.
All right then, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels in the video description below. Make sure you subscribe to CoasterGen. For now, I've been Luke. He's been Sean from ParkSpill. He's been Sam from Theme Park Insanity. He's been Joe from Theme Park Insanity. He's been Mikhile. He's been Luca. And he's been Sean from ParkSpill. And he's been James. And I've been Luke. We've been CoasterGen.
I think you've said the same thing a few times.
You know what? Just subscribe to all these people. See you next time, guys. Say bye, James.
Bye, James.